This is a summary of the Doha summit that was held in Qatar after they were struck by Israel, and you can expect and assume it to be as superficial, as much of a waste of time, as passive as you can imagine. So first off, the actual attack by Israel was regarded as cowardly, even though the real cowards are the ones who get struck again and again and again and do not respond in any meaningful way again and again and again. That is actually cowardice. They also called the attack treacherous, and it's interesting that traitors, the biggest traitors known to this ummah, are using the word treachery for somebody else. You would be the experts in treachery. So who do they call out to? These GCC and the quote-unquote Islamic countries, who do they call out to? They call out to the US. They call out to the biggest donor, the biggest supporter, the biggest financier of Israel. And you are calling out to the US to put an end to this aggression. Like, are you feeling alright? Of course, as expected, you can't have a summit of, Arab and Islamic countries without there being some kind of empty condemnation. We condemn in the strongest terms Israel's cowardly and illegal attack on the state of Qatar, blah, 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 blah. Who gives a damn? You're not going to do anything about it anyway. We saw what happened just a few years ago with the Riyadh summit. This is just more of the same. We will hold Israel accountable in the international community. Where the heck have you been living for the last 2 years? Have you not seen the complete malfunction, the complete breakdown of the international community? The same international community that has overseen an unaliving of an entire population for 2 years. That's the international community that you're calling out to. Again, pleading for help from the UN. What is the UN going to do? The UN is the one wherein the US has a veto. You're going to now go to that very same UN where the US has a veto, and anything that you do against the Zionist state is going to be vetoed by the US, but you do so anyway just to say to your people, hey guys, we tried our very best, but you know what? The US vetoed our bill. Obviously they're going to veto your bill. They've vetoed anything that does not align with them and their agenda and their allies since the inception of the UN. That is how it is designed to work. Erdogan of Turkey saying you need to apply economic pressure on Israel, even though they are the ones that have been allowing oil, even though they are the ones that have been selling steel and iron, even though they are the ones that were trading in agricultural produce to the same entity for 2 years. And don't give me this rubbish that, they have cut all ties and all diplomacy. No, they have not. Sisi's Egypt said this is a heinous attack on Qatari territory. We need to go back to international law, as if he gives a damn. This dictator, this tyrant, gives a damn about international law. Look at what he's saying here. It's sabotage. It is sabotaging peace. What peace? With whom is there peace? They've waged war on all of their surrounding neighbours over the past few decades. Now they're committing an unaliving of an entire population, and you're here saying, we need to uphold the peace that was quote unquote established back in 1979. What are you on about, you traitor? And last but not least, of course, you have a guest arrival, a guest starring from none other than Pakistan, who Shahbaz Sharif, the Prime Minister, said that there needs to be a task force, whatever that means, a task force that has to adopt effective measures to ward off Israeli expansionist designs. Like the kind of task force measures that Pakistan had in mind when it came to taking back Kashmir. Oh no, that didn't work. When it came to, building some kind of bridges with Afghanistan. Oh no, that didn't work either. When it came to retaliating against the closure of the Indus Waters Treaty. Oh, that didn't work either. You don't have a task force. What you have is who can supply the US with the biggest bowl, the biggest kutta bowl that they can drink water from, so that they can be the most loyal servant of the US. That is your design. That's your task force. So all in all, there you have it. That is a summary of the Doha summit. It was empty condemnations. It was a load of rubbish, to be honest with you. There were no really concrete actions that were going to take place. None of the nations are going to do anything. Still, they will, after being slapped up by the US and by US institutions like the UN, the Security Council, the so-called international law and international order, they will still again and again go back to the very same institutions, the very same nations that have been slapping them around for the last few decades, and hope that maybe, just maybe, if we are loyal enough, that there will be some kind of change to our circumstance. There is no change to the circumstance. We have seen now very clearly what the agenda is for the region, and it's about time that our so-called rulers, who haven't got a vision at all whatsoever for their own people, are replaced with people who actually do have a vision, who put their people first, who put principle first, who put the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. The Doha summit, just like the Riyadh summit, is another exposure of the incompetence and the treachery of who we call our rulers and our regimes.